So today we're going to take a look at the Superdome Grand Final, played between Fnatic and Acend. I thought it was a pretty interesting game, quite a high-level game overall this final, and had some interesting moments into it, so that's what we're going to dive into today. But before we get into that, today's video is being sponsored by Gosu Academy, who are running a 10-day Valorant bootcamp that starts tomorrow. So if you are going to sign up, you must sign up right now. You can go into the description or the pinned comment as well. I will leave a link to this website where you can go and sign up for this. It's a 10-day Valorant bootcamp. I will be running one of the sessions myself. Neil Zenio, the former G2 coach, current Tier 1 head pro coach in Valorant, will be running most of the sessions, so you will learn, I'm sure, a lot from him. And it's going to be a 10-day bootcamp overall. Starts tomorrow, so get signing up now. And don't worry if you can't make all the sessions. Each one will be recorded as a VOD, so you can always catch up as well. But the idea is that you are going to get better at Valorant, right? It's going to be, properly focused on making you a better Valorant player. So if you do want to sign up, go and sign up today. It's a money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Go into the pinned comment or the link in the description. Get signing up because it starts tomorrow, and so you have to do it right now. And so we're going to start with round number 3 here, which is Ascend's bonus round. You can see that they have won the first pistol round overall, and what they're going to do here, this is going to be quite an interesting bonus round. I think you can see their weaponry isn't great, right? They only have one Spectre and one Vandal coming in, and then the rest isn't that great. But what they're going to do is they're going to start off with some early pressure on both sides, right? We're going to get a dog up here from the sky. We're going to get a boombot here from the raise towards showers as well. You get a Viper Molly that comes through the window just to land there. So they pressure on both sides of the map, and they manage to get Starkzo the ult up. So now Starkzo has his ult, and you can see this is a bit of an A lean early on, but because they've had the dog on B, that's going to freeze the other two players on this side of the map. So because, they've dogged down here or whatever, that's just going to freeze these players, and thinking, well, there might be someone here, but actually you can see Roxy on Sky is actually on all the way back, because this is going to be, an A hit, as you can see. So what's going to happen here is we're actually going to swap guns, and I thought this was quite an interesting thing as well, and something that teams don't perhaps do enough, in my opinion. Like in pro games, you need to kind of, I think a lot of these players maybe need to let go of their ego a bit more. I've seen it in teams. I know that Vanity has said this himself, right? That when Vanity from C9 is playing and he has enough, like they've got one rifle on the team or whatever, why has he got the rifle, right? He should be giving it to one of his better players. I'm sure that you will see Vanity give a rifle to Ye, when it comes to it, as the season starts next year. I'm sure that is something that will happen. And I think that this is something interesting as well, that Starks only has 25 shields, but Vac has 50, right? Vac doesn't have a gun. Why not let Vac try first, right? And you're on a bonus round, and I think on a bonus round, when you have something like one rifle, right? The rifle just should be trying to take that 1v1 fight like Vac is going to do here. Should just be trying to find this first kill, right? If they die, someone else picks up the rifle, you try again. That's what's going to happen here to Vac. Starkzo, as you see, is going to end up just picking up that rifle. So we end up in this situation 4v5, right? But there's obviously been a lot of attention coming over here. They've probably seen that Starkzo's in there as well. And so, Fnatic are going to focus here their attention towards Shao. But these two are just using this Viper cell, which again is just so effective to sneak really pretty deep in, as you can see, towards the site. And we're going to see a bit of a genius use of an ult here, I think, just timing wise and where kind of the round is overall. You see that what happens is the two Ascend players here kind of, back up. They give Showers a bit of room, perhaps because they feel the pressure is coming from these other Fnatic players, right? Because they just want to secure themselves. Flash comes in from the sky, and now Starkzo is about to ult just there. You can see it on the map. Just here, he's going to send in this ult, and that really causes a problem for these players, right? Leo here on Viper, he kind of only has one way out, and that's to run into two people, and Derke here is actually going to blast back away. But this is just so great, because these players, you think are going to flood there, and this Viper stuff is just about to drop. It has just dropped this Viper wall, right? So Derke, you can see, is focusing on this, but as we can see, the Ascend players are actually further ahead, and the idea behind this ult, of course, is someone maybe is standing there, and is going to run this way into these two, and it's going to go very, very well. Now, because it is the raise, as you'll see, Derke comes blast packing across. Derke does manage to get one, but gets traded by Monster, and Starkzo manages to kill Leo, who had to push into the two players. Really, really good stuff from Ascend, and I think, on a bonus round like this, some teams might feel, like we don't really want to use our ults on these kind of rounds, right, where we aren't expected to win, but they ended up in a 3v3. Sure, they're probably still not favored, because, they still don't have great weaponry comparatively, and they don't have a lot of health, But this was a winnable situation. Now, they aren't ultimately going to win this round, but I think that this gave you a kind of good understanding, a good showcase of like what a good bonus round is. When you're in a bonus round, did you say we can get to a 3v3 post plant here? You know, they probably would have taken that, right? Whether you use an ult or not. And I think the ult usage was just really, really good. Alfie is going to find a mad timing there, as I think they knew perhaps Boaster was in heaven or thought that someone was there, because these two guys, you know, came to kind of swing it. So I think that they were trying to double swing that. I'm not exactly sure, but that's kind of what it looked like. And Alfie just picked like a god timing to go and, you know, pick them off as they were trying to do that. Fnatic win the round, but I thought it was a decent try by Acend. Now let's come to the very next round, because I think it gives you a very good showcase of Fnatic's understanding of the comp that they were playing against here. Because what Acend are running, they're running the old Acend comp, funnily enough, with the Sage that they ran for so long. CNED on Sage, on Bind, this is the comp that Acend went on just an incredible run with, where they were just completely unbeatable on this map with this comp back in the day. And, you know, they went back to it here, maybe it's a bit of an homage and whatnot. I really quite liked it. But what we're going to get here in this round is we're 1:18 left in the round. Acend are eventually going to send it towards A, but again, they're just sending the Skydog down just to, again, hold these players in position, right? That, you know, Skydogs come down here, and for Fnatic here, you know, they don't really have eyes of what's going on too much down here. So, you know, this could, in theory, be the kind of the bulk of the attack coming with the Skydog in their minds. But one way that they were using the chamber is often wherever the side of 3 was, you know, you're going to have the chamber trap on the other side. This is something that's very, very common, right? Wherever there's only 2 players, you put the chamber trap in there as well, just to kind of help them out on the whole. So what's going to happen here is Acend are going to come back towards the A site, as you can see, and they are going to make an A hit. But I think what's really, really impressive here is Fnatic understanding what this Acend comp is kind of about, what it does, and, you know, I mean, it was the kind of meta comp for a while after Acend, you know, started dominating with it. But, you know, they kind of had a very good, I think, idea. And one of the things here is I just want to take a look at where Boaster is, right? And I did a video about what makes you kind of a good Brim. What's the difference between a great Brim and like a good Brim? And one of them is lineups, because that is how you can get a big advantage on Brim. And so Boaster is going to send a lineup across the map. And if you are going to play Brim at an extremely high level, I think that, you know, these kind of extra lineups are things that you need in your arsenal to really make a difference. Because with the Acend comp, the one thing that it's really, really good at, and you can actually see the Molly come in here, is getting basically into a post plant, right? Particularly on this A site. What often would happen, and CNED's done a bit of a different wall here this time. You know, maybe this was part of Ascend's game plan to do this wall instead. But, you know, normally the normal wall comes across the one that I've just drawn here. Like this, right? You plant behind it, and then you just go and play post plant. It basically allows you to just abuse this Viper setup, essentially. You know, just come down here, walk with the Viper stuff. No one can pretty much stop you. And then you put a wall up here and you plant, and no one can pretty much stop you, right? But Fnatic were very much keen on stopping this plant. They were like, we aren't going to let you do that, right? And you're going to see that they've got like Raze nade lineups, they've got Viper Molly lineups, they've got this Brim Molly lineup, right? They were doing everything they possibly could to stop that spike going down straight away, you know, so that they could break the Sage wall and basically make the Sage, you know, not that effective on this attacking side. So in this instance, you know, they use here, you know, the Raze ult as well to push them back. You see, we've got the nade, we've got the Molly there from the Brim, you know, just basically saying, you are not planting the spike. And that causes panic for Acend now, right? As players have started to drop, right? They're expecting here for Acend, you know, we're just going to get the spike down and we're going to be good. But instead, Fnatic were very, very keen on just absolutely making sure there was no way you are planting the spike in this kind of area. They had all sorts of lineups to stop it, and I thought it was a really impressive way of basically trying to counter the comp that they were playing against. You know, the kind of countering one of the main strengths of this Acend comp. Eventually, they have to take the TP instead. They try and leave stock. So here, obviously, in a 5v3, you know, you're not feeling great about this situation overall. And, you know, eventually Fnatic here are going to basically close the door on them as they get the flank in as well. Kind of interesting thing happens here, and a very committed as well, very good discipline here from Alfia, who just sits there, waits to see, you know, they only heard 2 go through the teleporter, so he's just waiting to see, you know, will anyone sneak through there. Very good discipline by him. He eventually hears the 3rd come through the teleport. It's kind of a weird timing here for Mystic, but he catches the perfect timing here, Mystic, to be able to just kill CNED as the spike just goes down. There it goes. And now he also obviously heard the TP, so Mystic is able to clean up that one, and Roxy's left in a 1v5, and good luck as they start to stick the defuse. So really, really good game plan, I think, from Fnatic against this specific comp in terms of stopping that spike going down, basically just nullifying that Sage's value, because, by the time the Acend are kind of ready to plant again, the wall is kind of useless, it's been destroyed, right? And so you just don't have that same level, essentially, from the Sage that you normally would in securing that plant. And now let's come to round number 9. And what I want to talk about in this round is understanding your utility and your team's utility, right? Because at a very high level, you will see stuff like this, right? So Brim has 3 smokes, right? We all know that. Brim's got 3 smokes, and obviously what normally happens in a round is that, Brim will smoke off this, and that's 2, and, maybe you'll smoke off this if you're coming all the way down here. Maybe it'll be the opposite if you're coming all from Hookah. But for the most part, right, these 2 are always going to be used, and then the third one might be used later on or whatnot. But now in this round, what we're going to see is obviously you have a Sage, so you have a Sage wall that can kind of, act like a smoke in that kind of sense, right? That if you Sage wall across here, it's kind of doing the same job, blocking them off. Right, or you then also have a Viper's Pit coming to this round for Acend, and what they're going to do is they're going to go quick. So they're going to use all 3 Brim Smokes though, right? And I think this is a good way to think about your utility, that, the call has been made, we're going to go fast B. We've got a Viper's Pit, we've got a Sage Wall, and I've got 3 Smokes as the Brim. But I know I'm only probably going to be using 2, so can I use that third one, right? If I don't need it for later on either because of the Viper's Pit, ideally let's hope that that goes well, and, because of the Sage Wall, that's going to do the job most of the time anyway. Where can I use this third smoke? And what we're going to see here from Acend is they are going to use their third smoke just in here, right? And I think, this smoke that you'll see come in just a second, obviously the purpose is to block kind of any, knowledge here for Fnatic. As you see, it just comes down there, and Mystic, now doesn't have any vision, right? It's just this one here. It doesn't have any vision. Also allows you to sneak up and maybe come down there. If Derke was here with an op, right, as soon as they can see he's not ahead of the smoke, that tells you that, it's Derke probably isn't anywhere here, because he wouldn't stay around with this smoke here either, right? There'd be no need to. So, they feel confident that Derke had been kind of, wrecking them with the op for a certain amount. And as you can see, they're going quick. You might have just seen the Skydog in there. Vac gets up to this position here. And I think that just the use of this Brim Smoke, was just very, very clever. And we see it more and more, to be honest. I think one of the first teams I saw do it was 100 Thieves, who would often, come into Hookah here, the main, kind of part of their attack, smoke off Hookah themselves. Right, which kind of I thought was an interesting thing, because it kind of baits as if, there's no one in Hookah for them, but really the majority of the team is, and also obviously disguises the fact that there are people in here, the defenders actually can't see, and this smoke is kind of doing a somewhat similar thing, you might say, as well. So then they come with the Razor, as you see just here. Vac does manage to kill Boaster, and they start to come in. Sage Wall goes up, they're going to get the spike down, they're going to get a Viper's Pit down as well. Now, one thing that's just happened is CNED has died here. Yeah, because what's happened is he's actually walled himself off, right? He's put the Sage Wall down, but then he's on the other side of it, right? Which, isn't necessarily a terrible idea. Maybe this wasn't the round to do it, because you have that Viper's Pit. You've already got the first kill by the time he's doing that. So it's, 5v4 with a Viper's Pit on this B site. I'd probably say you don't need to do that, but obviously as soon as you've made that split-second decision, you are stuck, so you do have to continue on. So, once that decision has been made, it has been made, but from here, obviously, it becomes incredibly difficult for Fnatic overall, right? You're retaking on the B side, which is one of the hardest sides to retake into. You've got a Sage Wall to deal with, you've got, a Viper's Pit here as well. Good luck, right? And they are going to try, but it's going to go about as you would expect, to be honest, because this is a pretty rough setup to have to retake in, no matter what comp you have, or no matter what the situation is. The defensive side here is looking pretty good. You see Starkso gets up this nice position here, and he's ready to take this on with Vac, and he gets rewarded for that nice little angle there. And then they try and come through the Viper's Pit, and it is good luck. And now let's come to the attacking side for Fnatic, and truly one of the most insane kills I think I've ever seen in this game that Derke is about to do in this round. So what's going to happen is we're in this situation here where we've got the wall up from CNED. You might have just seen it there. He's actually on top of it just here. In Hookah, Derke is going to, just kind of have a little foray in or whatever. They see each other a bit. Slow goes down, right? Good luck trying to get through this, right? As an attacker, it's kind of like, do I really want to challenge this Sage here with the slows and with the wall up there in Hookah? It's not ideal, that's for sure. And so, Derke does just go away, and Fnatic decide to come back towards this A site instead. But Vac has got himself pushed up with the Viper's Wall here that goes just across the site and across there in showers as well. You can see he's got himself pushed up pretty deep here in shower, and he's gonna, you know, make the most of that, as well as Fnatic clearly weren't really expecting this, and, you know, hadn't really seen this at this point, so, you know, weren't really checking for it, as you can see, as he manages to get 2 pretty sweet kills there. And we end up in a 5v3. Now, normally when teams lose 5v3s, you know, I'm not too happy with it, and I mean, that fight that Monster takes there is, you know, unnecessary, let's say, but I can't be too mad at this one because of what Derke is about to do, because it's pretty insane. So you see, nice nade there comes in from Acend as well. They actually managed to get a 1-for-1 there. We end up in a 3v2, and, well, this is quite a nice try here by Fnatic. You know, they tried to go together, but Vac does manage to get 1. We end up in a 2v1. And Acend, you know, 2v1 here, he doesn't do anything wrong, right? What's going to happen is Derke is going to fake the spike plant, and you can see that CNET obviously just wants to wait for Stark, so at this point, right, there's no need to take this as a 1v1. The time is running low. You basically just want to, you know, threaten. You basically just want to try and make that time run even lower, allow Stark to come here. Hopefully he doesn't plant the spike in that time, you know, just kind of show some presence. And what he's going to do, he's just going to jump peek there after Derke fakes the tap, but Derke's going to hit that shot. And that is an insane shot, and I'll show you the replay of it after, because it becomes even more insane. And Derke is now going to actually manage to win the round there and kill Starkso as well, who does 140 him, which is quite unfortunate. But yeah, let's just quickly watch Derke's point of view, because it's pretty insane. So it's not this. This is Boaster getting a kill, and it's not this one. That's Derke getting that kill there, but it's this. Oh my goodness gracious me. That is one of the most insane shots I think I've ever seen in this game. And, well, it won them that round. And I think really this was a turning point in this game, because, you know, Fnatic just went on an absolute tear after this round from Derke. And ultimately, it will culminate in round number 21, where Fnatic would win it. And Acend was starting a bit of a comeback, but it's always the saves. I don't know why, but whenever it's like, you know, 12-6 or 12-5 or whatever, and a team starts to come back a bit, they always lose on the save for some reason. It seems to happen way more often than it should. But I think this one's going to be interesting as well, just thinking about comp-wise, because CNED has an op here on the Sage. Obviously, he is an incredibly good op player. But he's on the Sage, and he's put the Sage wall up here in towards Shao, and he actually manages to get the first kill, as you can see just there, as they start to break the wall. Little gap in the wall, nice use of the Sage, perhaps, as he manages to find that first kill on Althea. But you're going to see something interesting happen here. And I think, again, if we think about this Sage, there's kind of a bit of posturing back and forth overall. The dog comes in, throws a slowdown, right? But he doesn't leave just yet, right? He continues on. Now, whilst that's going on, what's going on here is Fnatic are going to start walking up, and he's still in here, right? He's still just watching with the op. You know, he's not going to find a kill, but he's just watching. Then these smokes come in. Right, and because these smokes come in, CNED is going to retreat. And I don't hate this idea. You're against a save. You're in a 5v4. There's no need to take a massive risk, right? But I was thinking, if CNED's on chamber, does he ever leave this? Right? Does he ever leave this spot if he can TP out? Because the problem, obviously, with these smokes is that his teammates at some point, you know, might need to leave, or they might die on the site, right? And then he's in a terrible position here as a Sage, and he can't get out. So he feels like, okay, I have to run back here now because of the pressure of these smokes and whatnot, right? That we can't guarantee we will have all of this control of the front site. And so, you know, I don't want to get pincered in with an op. You know, that isn't a great position to be in. But obviously, if he was on chamber, well, then maybe you can just TP out, right? And you feel more comfortable and more entrenched in this position to be able to kill, you know, these players. Because what's going to happen is this decision, and this isn't a wrong decision, by the way. I completely agree with CNED's thinking here, and I think he makes the right decision. But it's a decision that ultimately is going to, I think, cost them this round. Because a Viper's Pit is going to come in from the side of Fnatic, as you will see, as they eventually kind of slowly creep their way up here, Leo and Mystic. And Mystic sends a flash around here. They see that no one is there. And then Boaster puts down another smoke here as well. And obviously CNED with an op at this point isn't feeling too good. Still, they're in a 5v4 against a save, but a Viper's Pit is really a big equalizer, as you will see, because it starts to come in. And now you have problems if you're Acend, right? This has gone from what should have been a very easy round to all of a sudden, you know, Stingers and Spectres will melt you in a Viper's Pit. And then, whilst all this chaos is going on, right, and they're tapping the spike, and, you know they've given up this control, Derke is just over here, right, and he's managed to kill Starkso in heaven, and he's just going to cause chaos over here towards that side. We got a really nice Brim ult, to be fair, from Starkso that does manage to kill Boaster with the spike just there. But now you will see the Derke is just going to cause mayhem. He manages to get Monster as well. And now it's a 3v3 and now a 3v2 after Mystic kills Cena as well. And Stingers and Spectres, you know, in here, it doesn't matter, right? And ultimately, Roxy ends up in a pretty bad situation. 1v2, Viper's Pit there, and ultimately he will fall to Derke just at the end here, who manages to win it for Fnatic, and they would go on to win the Superdome tournament. But a good game played by both teams, and I think a really interesting one, kind of seeing what, Fnatic are up to and whatnot as we prepare for next year. And once more, thank you to Gosu Academy for sponsoring the video. You can go into the link in the description or at the pinned comment to sign up today for the 10-day Valorant bootcamp.